Good afternoon, room 20.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Who's hungry? Yeah, excellent.
It's lunchtime at Rowandale School in Manurewa.
Okay, guys, come and get your food. The brownies are under here. Take a brownie and cheese.
These 7-year-olds are all eating pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, vegetarian halal.
Actually, the entire school of 600 plus pupils and teachers are eating chicken and rice packed into little cardboard boxes. That's because they are part of Ka Ora Ka Ako, the $130 million free school lunches program. It started in 2019 and now reaches more than 222,000 students at 989 schools, about a quarter of all schools. But with record food prices putting households under stress, should every child at every school get them? I'm Sharon Brett-Kelly, and today on The Detail I'm at Rowandale to find out how the government's school lunch program works and why food charities are still having to top it up. Hi. So tell me what you've got for lunch here.
Chicken nugget and juice.
So you all got a chocolate brownie.
Yeah.
Lucky.
I have these.
Okay, what's that?
These are chocolate chickens.
Chocolate chickens?
Syrup.
Okay. At this school, the lunches are made and delivered by Life Church on Mondays and Fridays, and a Pit franchise Tuesday to Thursday. And you'd think it would be a no-brainer signing up for the free lunch program, but this school did not rush in. Here's Principal Carl Vassau and Deputy Vincent Naidu to explain how it was already working with charities.
We've had a strong connection with Kids Can and with Eat My Lunch and other providers. Every day our school would make close to 200 sandwiches. And so we would have our breakfast crew that would make breakfast in the mornings for our children under the Kids Can program. Then they would start making sandwiches. We would have fruit in schools every day. We would also have milk in schools and the breakfast. So we've had lunches at our school at the cost of on the school for a number of years. But since this program, now it's provided for us.
How is this program different?
This program has helped support us even further from the support that we were providing to our students. With the meals coming in every single day, the uptake on that from students initially was not as great, simply because different types of meals, healthy meals. We initially had sort of a fair bit of wastage, where students were not actually eating them simply because they were getting used to what was placed on the table for them. But now the wastage is barely, it's minimal now.
They
Absolutely.
provide for our Muslim, our Hindi families, our vegetarians. Most of our children don't eat anything unless it's deep fried, it's brown, or it's got some sauce on it. And so a good example is my own son who comes to this school. We know exactly what he eats. And when we first saw these foods, like Vincent said, it took a while for the children to get used to them. But like all things, once they saw their friends eating it, once they saw the teachers eating it as well, good modelling of this food, it's very little, like Vincent said, very little wastage now.
Do you both believe that this is the right kind of scheme?
Obviously, it's made a difference, to our students. But I still think the program, still needs a little distance to go in terms of the different providers as well. The ones that we have currently, I know initially we had a few little, teething problems with them in terms of delivery, the timing, the administration of the whole thing. So we're at a stage now where it's actually working quite efficiently.
And I think, looking at the model, children that are fed well and have full stomachs do well in education, and they learn better, they engage better, and they feel better about themselves. So we've had some children in the past that have come to school hungry, and schools have worked really hard to ensure that we've bridged that. this kind of initiative has helped some of our struggling families. Don't get us wrong. Many of our families before this free lunches scheme came in were sending their children to school with wholesome, beautiful, packed lunches from families that sometimes people would stereotypically say, oh, how do you afford that? Because they prioritised about lunches. Others, it just wasn't part of their ability or their priority. And so this kind of lunches program takes one worry away from some of our families. Families still stock up their children's lunchboxes just in case.
What we're hearing now, day in, day out, are stories of the rising cost of living, how difficult it is to get good food that's enough to feed your family. What are you seeing here?
The pinch and the struggle is real for everybody, but more so for our community. We can only control what happens within our gates. And so when a child comes and they're hungry, we feed them. If a family comes and they are in need of assistance, we try to support them. There's no questions asked. It's what we're dealing with as a hungry child. Doesn't matter how they were hungry. We just have to deal with that, and that's what we can control here. Come on, let's go to lunch.
Let's go to lunch.
Finish your cup of tea.
Okay. In the staff room, I meet teacher Carolina Kasi-Sangoti.
Not many families in our area can afford to have lunches every day. So having the program set up here at school, it gives the children no excuses to not have food, and their parents not have a reason for them to stay home. They can be here at school, still learning, and have food provided for them.
So what are you saying, that the parents might keep the children at home if they haven't got a lunch?
Yeah, pretty much. So it does go like that. Before we had the lunches, it was a problem. That's why the parents weren't sending their children to school, saying, they're really, really shy though. And so when I do call up as a teacher and say, your child's been away for a couple of days now, and they go, I'm so sorry, I'm really embarrassed. We don't have any food to bring for their lunches, so it's just easier for us to be at home. I said, okay. So after that, it was easier for us to have the lunches here and explain to the parents, it's okay, we've got food here, bring your child to school. And so they were so happy. And you see the attendance pick up from that.
And I suppose if it's across the board, so every child gets a lunch.
Yes.
Does that make a big difference in terms of making it just part of your school day? You know that you're going to go to school and get your lunch.
We need our children to, eat, because it opens up our minds for them, or they open up their minds to learn.
Do you see a difference between a hungry child and a child that's...
Definitely, yeah.
In what way?
Well, so if they've missed breakfast in the morning, so they'll come in and you'll see them all sluggish. I'm like, okay. And I'll go up to them and say, have you had breakfast this morning? And they're like, no, I missed it. I said, okay, that's fine. So we've got a teacher aide here who runs it, so I'll quickly go run to her and say, can you just quickly make some Weet-Bix or some toast? And she goes, yeah. As soon as they eat, they've come back and the eyes are brighter and they're ready, and they're listening, they're ready.
That's vegetarian, isn't it? And are you going to eat that?
Yeah, later.
Later?
Yeah.
Why are you going to eat it later?
Because I'm going to eat my stuff first.
Well, the kids seem happy, but let's find out what the free lunches mean for two mums who work at the school and have children here, Mina Tamatoa and Pollyanna Paesi. Mina says high food costs are a huge burden for parents at this school, which under the old decile system was ranked the very highest level of need.
Yeah, that's pretty much our deficit as parents, is, that worry of sending your child to school and there's no lunch and nothing for them to eat. Education is important for our children, and food is something that's vital for our children, brain function and how they think, and so they need that food in order to learn. So yeah, I've always felt that having food provided in the schools was a great blessing.
Even on our parents, you could see when they come to enrol and they're filling out the form for lunches, and then when they're told that it's provided by school, they're really surprised, and a lot of them are really quite thankful. I guess I'm that parent who, for example, before the lunches were provided, if I didn't have lunch for my kid, I would rather stay home, than come to school.
Why?
Because I felt that it's embarrassing if they were here with no food, for example. So I'd rather they stay home than kind of feel that embarrassment. So,
Yeah, I've been witnessing a lot of parents who enrol their children, and you can actually see the weight lift when they see the lunch provided, in their faces. They're so grateful, they're so happy.
For some children, might this be the only meal that they're getting?
Yeah, I would think so. I think you can tell because we have students who would prefer to take, like if it's left over, they're actually asking if they could take it home. And we have others, who really come out and say it, that they're wanting to take this home for their families because they don't have any food at home. So, yeah, definitely, it's sad, but that's the dire need that we're facing.
And the children, some of them come to the sick bay, sore head, haven't had a proper meal, lost sleep. So we feed them here because they just don't have that means at home with their own family.
Right, so it all boils down to the fact that they're hungry.
Yes. It is truly our reality here in our area. There's many children and not only that, but the amount of children that they might have in their families. So if there is leftovers, I really admire the teachers that do give the children that have larger families the leftover.
Is this enough then? The free lunches in school, the milk in schools, the fruit in school, is it enough? Does more need to be done in terms of feeding the children?
Definitely highlights food security issues that, we kind of don't really think too much about until we actually see it, especially in schools. And is it enough? I don't think so. I mean, if they're taking food home because they feel that's the only way they're going to get food in the evening, then it's not enough.
What else do you think should be done?
I'm not too sure what the solution would be, but how else can they subsidise or provide food vouchers or, for families, or I really don't know. It's just, how do you cope with the rising prices each time?
The need hasn't gone away. The government school lunches have met a particular need, fantastic, but we've kind of uncovered more needs as a result of that. It's highlighted it more.
Derek Good is the chair of Feed the Need, a charity set up in 2012 to provide hot meals in schools. So it was really done out of its own job when the government launched free school lunches. Now the charity is trying to fill other gaps and finding that it's not that easy.
And as we've mentioned, kids come to school with an empty stomach. They don't study very well. They go home to an empty cupboard. What's the life like? Eating and drinking, that is our fundamental need as humans. So with that being taken away or made difficult, everything else doesn't seem to matter that much.
So how did it all begin?
Well, so Kerry Owen was the founder, and she's a bit of visionary. I mean, literally having kind of dreams about this stuff. She had this vision to have kids at school have healthy hot lunches, and in particular for South Auckland, and immediately set about trying to get some help and funding organised with that funding, and Hugh Green Foundation was one of the biggest contributors. Set up a kitchen in the Salvation Army offices in Mount Wellington. So they have a great store there, and we've been working with them for some time. So
it was specifically lunches at the time?
Yes, that's really what the whole plan was. So if you like, they kind of met that need when the government made that announcement in 2018. So that's kind of when the shift happened for Feed the Need. Moving away from that, because the government could reach way more schools than Feed the Need could. And there was nine schools and 2 kindergartens at its peak. So since then, and we had COVID, of course, in between all that really impacted what we did, but switched a little bit to offering supplementary food to families. We created what were called whānau packs that would basically be a breakfast and a dinner for a family, and then some weekend packs as well that they could take home. So we had sheds literally set up that food could come in and be stored there, and families could take what they needed.
And that's still happening now?
No, so that was again a phase that went through, and then our funding for that kind of ended, so we couldn't keep supplying those. I mean, we left the sheds with the schools, and from there we kind of shifted our focus a little bit to kids that were in transitioning out of foster care. So when you're in foster care, I mean, that's not always a wonderful experience. And then shifting out of foster care, suddenly they're on their own, 19, they're in a place of their own and normally didn't really have anything. So we started to put together packs for them to have. So this is a big box, $120 worth of food that could keep them going for quite some time.
Yeah.
So that was a focus. Then we went on to food vouchers. So we worked with a company called Everybody Eats based out of Wellington. But most recently we have moved into providing those supplementary packs, snack packs we call them, or weekend packs for children at these schools, because we found out, of course, that the lunch is doing a great job, but still, as you said, some are turning up hungry. Some are going home to empty cupboards. So providing something for them in that regard. And that's kind of our focus now for the next, for the rest of 2023, is food parcels for those transitioning out of foster care and snack and weekend packs for the schools that need them.
How many snack and weekend packs would you do you think?
About 1,500 packs in total.
It's not every week,
No.
is it?
We don't have the funding. No.
Really? That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, does it work? It feels like you've gone from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Is that because you set up one thing, it's been successful, so you move on to the next thing?
That's definitely how that's how it's gone from the perspective of the charity. Now, one of the issues that we have is that Kerry, who's the founder, has lots of the relationships, and some of them have said, if you move back from the US, we will fund you again. So it's about re-establishing those relationships.
Who will fund you? The government?
No. These are independent organisations.
Oh, I see. These are partners or sponsors or
yes, correct.
Big businesses.
Yep. We've overhauled our website. It's been quite static for a while, so we've recently overhauled that to make it easy for people to donate. So people can just go on our website now, click a button and donate. So, and we've made it easy for them to say, if you want to donate a snack pack, $3. If you want to donate a weekend pack, $10, and they can just click this and know that they've done something.
Do you feel it works?
I feel like we aren't doing anywhere near enough. I feel like we've got so much room to grow. But it's something. It's a bit like the starfish analogy, At least we're making a difference to that person on that day, and that's kind of where we feel at least we can do something.
Why can't you be bigger, grow more?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I think one, when you have a volunteer basis, there are people that are all working, is that you can't donate the amount of time that you want to in that space. Now, it doesn't mean we have to do everything. We also have on our website a volunteer button. People want to do that on a regular basis. We can start to plan this on a regular basis. We can do 100 packs a week to your school every school week that's running, and that will give them the ability to say, great, we've got consistency that we can provide, because at the moment it's really hit and miss.
So is the demand there, but you're unable to meet that demand at the moment?
Sure, yeah.
Because I've got a note here that says your demand has doubled since October.
Well, this is that's only one of the areas. So the foster care, it's actually the food parcels, which is another thing that we do. We are doing double those food parcels. We could do a lot more. We have partners that Great Potentials is a outlet for us. They are dealing with people in the community and families that just don't have anything, and they've asked us for double what we can. But we can't provide it at the moment. That's another area that we can try and meet, and with more funding we could do it. And as an example, we have people that have great intentions. We were contacted by a Singapore chain, a hotel chain based in Singapore. They really wanted to do something with us.
Why?
Because they have two hotels here, and they said, we want to use some of our profit to help. Great. They got hold of us, they saw our website, they said, this is the sort of thing we want to do. It's taken 6, 7, 8 months, and now they said, we haven't decided what we want to do yet. We've had the proposal to them, we've given them, this is what your money could be used for, they've given us a budget, we said, this is what you can do, this is exactly what you'll see as a result, this is the relationship you can have with these schools. My last communication with them was, we haven't decided what we're going to do.
So it sounds like it's almost too hard.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's not too hard, but it's not easy, for sure.
But it's sort of up and down, hit and miss.
Yeah.
So what could be done? Because are there other organisations like yours that are...
Well, you've got Kids Can and places like that. There's lots of charities going off and doing things. And we don't necessarily want to compete and say ours is better and whatever. We just want to say, well, with all of that's going on, there's still a gap. We could pick up 5 schools tomorrow and say, what do you need? And they'll say to us, we need, 100 packs every day. That's one school.
So how could it be done better? The feeding the need, giving the food.
We don't have a consistency of donations. So if we had a consistency of donations, we'd be able to plan better. So we are working through how we get more people on board and make that happen. And I'm not talking about just people on the website clicking $3 once and that's it. I'm talking about an organisation that once put in $300,000, with that, we can make a massive forecast and say, right, we can start to meet this need that's out there in these particular areas.
But how do you get that consistency of donations?
Relationships, people seeing that, that they trust what's going to happen with their money, and results that are going to happen. So for us, yes, it is more funding. I'm not talking about the government. When we've never been to the government to get funding. It's been around private, businesses. Lots of people pay money to charities. Maybe some more investigation of what's happening with our money, how much of it gets to the end of the line, and being involved. Some of those organisations may actually want to do some of the work.
Back in room 20, this class is getting a prize for topping attendance rates at 90%.
Room 26 at 27. Congratulations to those classrooms. I'll be visiting you very shortly with a little gift. Well done.
Told you, we come to school every day, we'll get a treat somehow. Right?
Some of the things we were looking at in relation to this food was better attendance, better achievement, better engagement. We're definitely seeing that with children because of being able to provide breakfast in the mornings, being able to provide lunch, fruit, water during the day, and these things we can definitely see as having a positive effect on children's engagement, at least. Achievement, yes, but it's not the only thing. But happy, well-fed children who are warm will learn better.
The Detail asked the Education Minister's office if there are plans to put more money into the program in this month's budget so it will reach more children. It did not respond.
Bye, have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it for today. I'm Sharon Brett Kelly. The Detail is supported by the Public Interest Journalism Fund. This episode was engineered by William Saunders and produced by Sarah Robson and Bonnie Harrison. And thanks to Derek Good, Carl Vassau and the staff and students of Rowandale Primary, especially Room 20, who really made my day.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
15?
15? Oh, yes. No, a bit older than 15, but not much older. 50? Yeah, but that's a bit closer. Yeah. Oh, did you say 50? Yeah, that's close.